Good day, Chino Valley educators. We're going to make a common formative assessment, or CFA, using the Illuminate new item bank. Create an assessment is a tile on your screen. It might not be the first one, but tap on Create an Assessment and then choose New Item Bank. When you do that, it will open a little screen asking you to name the common formative assessment. Make sure this is something that you are going to share with your colleagues and is easy to remember. There we go. And I'm going to tap Create. It's going to open a nice big page, and on that page there's probably going to be a pig, indicating that you have an empty piggy bank of items. So tap on the word Browse here at the top. On the left, there is a column that opens that should have 4 criteria that you will want to specify in your search. So right now, my standards that I used last time were 10.4 and 10.6 for ELA grades 9 and 10. So I'm going to basically edit my base standards. I'm going to remove those standards either by tapping on the check mark next to them or by hitting the X over here in the summary. Now I have no standards chosen. Just to make sure, because I don't know where you're starting from, but if you are starting from a place where you had already been building CFAs for your subject matter, then you might not have to adjust these, but I'm going to show them to you anyway. Provider is the provider of the standards themselves, and that is going to be our Common Core content standards. Subjects, I've chosen ELA at this time. However, you can also use Item Bank for mathematics and grade level. Again, my sample is going to be grades 9 and 10, but if you are 8th grade English, you could instead choose that. Remember that these are little radio buttons, so if you want to uncheck something, you just tap it again. I'm going to stick with grade 9 and 10. Tap outside the box, and now I am confronted with a scrolling list of all the standards from which I may choose to assess for my CFA. So I'm going to go up here to the top, and I'm most familiar with, and I need to assess for 10.2 for theme and 10.5 for author's choices about structure. And again, you can see the summary over here. It's 2 selected standards, and the standards are listed here. So that's done. Pretty easy. Now, I'm going to look at bank. This is the item bank from which we will be drawing questions. And you want to choose the Inspect Premium. If you choose Chino Valley Unified School District, it will provide you with questions that Chino Valley has written and provided to you to use. But we're going to be using the Illuminate item bank, which is called Inspect Premium. My items is for our advanced teachers who are creating their own questions and want to choose those questions as part of their list in their CFAs that they're sharing with their colleagues. In the criteria column on the left, I've chosen standard and chosen the bank. Now I'm going to choose my item type, or I'm not. If I want to see and choose certain item types, I may do that. I choose not to do that at this time. I'm going to just leave it open, so I'm not going to check off anything. The 4th criteria, and you can certainly ignore this if you wish, but you may use it, is depth of knowledge. So by tapping on one of these, I can narrow down the DOK level for the potential items I will shop through. Now that I've chosen all the criteria on the left, these over here are my, basically my shopping list. I'm going to be able to go through here and check out each of these and see if there's something I want to use in my CFA. Now here's the thing. You want to make sure that when you go in, you're only getting, what, 2 to 4 items per standard, and everyone knows you don't want to have too many passages to read. So as we go through and check these things out, I'm looking for maybe 1 or 2 passages where I can get 2 or 3 questions for each of the 2 standards I've picked up. So with that in mind, I'm going to just look at this first one here. It's a passage. It has 2 items inside of it that I could potentially use. I'm going to go ahead and tap on View 2 Items. I can see the passage on the left and the 2 items on the right. Immediately I can see the type of question it is here in teal. One's constructed response and one's evidence-based selected response. And while I may like this, I don't really want to do constructed response right now. So I'm considering this one, and it's got 2 standards attached. Again, remember, it may have more than just the one that is part of your criteria. As I look at it, I can see there's 10.2, so I'm happy with that. It tells me it's a DOK level. Again, I may or may not care about that. I do need to know whether or not it is available for our online testing, so I want to make sure there's a little monitor icon there. If I want to see more about this question, there's a part A and a part B, but I don't know what the question is. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Show More, and it'll show me the complete question. Yeah, actually, I really like this one. And I know it's just one question for one passage. Let's see. It's kind of a long poem, but I'm going to go ahead and choose it. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Add Item, which will turn the green. And then I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, I'm not going to look at this one. That was it. So I can either tap on Confirm, or I can go to the next one, the next passage that has questions for me, and check that one out. This is another excerpt from The Overcoat. It's not too bad. Another selected response, a multiple choice, a multiple choice. You know what? I'm going to look at these more closely. Let's see, there it is. Confirming. It's a little harder. It's got a monitor. I'm going to look at that question. Again, it's a 2-parter. But I like that. I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. And because I'm really hoping to get more questions from the from this passage. Let's see if I can, oh, that's a 10.5. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and look at it, add it, and last but not least, let's look at this one. There's a top 2. I'm going to add that one. And now I can either go on to the next passage and check it out, or I can tap on Confirm. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Confirm for right now. I want to get a little summary of what my CFA looks like. And so down here in the lower right corner, you might see Assessment Summary. You will see Assessment Summary. And I love this little feature. It tells me immediately that I have 4 questions. Good. That's definitely, I want to have between 4 and 6, and maybe no more than 7. I can see that there's my 2 standards, and I've got 3 questions that apply to 10.2 and 1 question for 10.5. So in my head, I'm already taking note that I need at least 1 more question, if not 2, for 10.5. As I scroll down a little bit more, it'll tell me that I have 2 evidence-based selected response and 2 multiple choice. Very happy with that. And I've got 2 passages, and I'm okay with that. I'd really rather not have a 3rd one, but let's see what happens with my next selection. So go ahead and tap on the arrow, and I'm going to scroll down. There are a lot of things I can look at. Count of Monte Cristo, that's a favorite. I'm going to view 3 items there. I think it's kind of a longer passage. Constructed response. Let's see. I'm looking for a 10.5, and that's not it. Remember, I only have 1 question for 10.5. Nothing there. Let's go on here. Multiple choice. 10.5. Looking. Oh yes, I like that question a lot. Let's go ahead and tap that. And now I should have 3 and 2 for a total of 5. Let's see what this applies to. That'll give me 4 and 2, because that's a 10.2. 10.2. I think I'm going to just stop here and confirm. I have a total of 5 questions. Again, 5 questions. Up here, you see that there's a page that says Build. I'm going to try and keep you out of going there. You don't really need to go there at this time. And again, look at my summary. 3 and 2. 3 and 2, and 3 passages, but that's going to have to do for today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down, and I am done creating my CFA. I can tap on Done and choose to either publish it or save it as a draft. If I publish it, I'm not going to be able to make very many changes if I need to. So if I'm doing this alone and not with colleagues, I might save it as a draft. All right, so now it's sometime in the future, and we are all gathered together, and we're going to review the work I did on the CFA. And in order to share this with my colleagues, to view it with my colleagues rather, I'm going to tap on View Assessments. And from View Assessments, I'm going to see on the left a column, and under that column, there's My Assessments Draft Item Bank. In the old days, if you haven't used Illuminate for a while, it was really hard to find something that wasn't published. But now it's quite easy. And here we go. CFA, ELA, try one fake from the new item bank. And if I want to just look at this with my colleagues, I'm going to open it up. And we're going to be able to take a browse, see what it looks like. And if we're doing that, I'm over here in the build area. Remember, we built it in browse, and we can look at it a little bit more easily under build. So here's a passage and an item. I can view the passage. I can show more to see the item. There's a passage. There's 1, 2, 3 items that go with it, and there's a passage and 1 item. So now I can make edits with my colleagues. I can go back to browse, and it's just the same experience that we had before. We're just going to be shopping for different passages and questions and work together. When we're done working together and we all agree this is something that our department will benefit from, then I can tap on Done, and this time I can tap on Publish. Okay, so your CFA is published. Everyone agreed it was perfect, it's wonderful, it's fabulous. How do we share it with each other? Because currently, the only person that owns it is the person who designed it, who made it to begin with in their account. So again, go to View Assessments. You're now going to find that assessment not under Draft, but just My Assessments. CFA, ELA, try one fake. If it's difficult to find, you can search for it by actual title. You can search for it by date created. You can search for it by owner if need be. But once you've found the one that you want to share, it's usually right there at the top because it's the last one that you accessed, tap on the Action button to the far right of that title, and then scroll down to the word Share. On this share screen, currently you can see that this is not shared with anybody. The person who made it, I, am the only one who can access this test. We recommend in our department the easiest way to share and make sure the right people are getting the same exact assessment is to tap on the little arrow next to Share With and go down to User. And then literally pick out the users you are sharing it with. I say this because it can be kind of confusing when you go up to, say, for example, Cite and Role, or grade level, or Cite and Department. It gets a little more complicated because not everything is mapped perfectly. And if you choose Role, for example, and share it with Teacher, you're sharing it with all teachers. So that's not something we want to clutter everybody's Illuminate account with. So if you can be very specific, go ahead and do that. When you share with anybody, you're giving them certain permissions, and so this person, my colleague, will be able to view it and download it. Well, that's not enough. I want them to be able to administer the CFA, and because sometimes I forget names, or we get new staff members, or I'm out sick, I want them to be able to share this CFA with somebody else, if need be. The only thing I wouldn't do is tap on Can Edit. The problem with editing is that suddenly it's not a common formative assessment if somebody goes in and changes it. We want to make sure that these are common. And of course, don't forget to tap on the Share button. The person with whom you shared this CFA will not be getting an alert or an email, so please make sure that you share with that person the exact name of the CFA, or if you want, you can always share with them the number for it. As you probably already learned in Illuminate, each assessment has a number assigned, and it does make it much easier to tap in the assessment ID to find the exact one that you were shared. So I hope that helps you quite a bit. There's also a printable version of this training, and if you need any support, please feel free to reach out to tech trainers at chino.k12.ca.us.